Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today, I will explain a revenge thriller movie called Mom. The movie's storyline revolves around the struggle of a rape victim's mother. I don't want to reveal the entire story here, so without further delay, let's start the movie's explanation. At the beginning of the story, we're introduced to a biology teacher named Defki who is taking her class. In that class, a girl named Arya is peeping at a boy she used to like. We also notice a boy named Mohit who is staring at Arya with bad intentions. During the class, Mohit sends an inappropriate video to Arya, but Defki discovers it. She promptly throws Mohit's mobile out of the window as punishment. Mohit takes this as an insult instead of realizing his mistake, and he becomes vengeful. Later we see that Madame Defki is having dinner with her family and Arya is also there. We get to know that Defki is Arya's stepmom, but Arya doesn't like her, but she loves her father. During dinner, Arya tells her father about a party her friends have planned for Saturday night, and she wants to go. Knowing about the party, Defki becomes concerned and starts asking about the details, but Arya gets irritated because she doesn't like Defki's interference. So, Arya leaves the dinner and goes to her room. Later, Defki brings food to Arya's room and informs her that her father has agreed to let her go to the party. Defki always tries to make a good bond with Arya, but her efforts are never appreciated from Arya's side. The next day, Arya's father has to go out of the country for some important work. In the evening, Arya dresses up well and heads to the party where she starts enjoying herself with her friends. We suddenly notice that Mohit is also present at the party. He is thinking about taking revenge and even contemplating kidnapping Arya. He is telling everything to one of his older brothers named Charles about what happened at school. During the party, Mohit tries to bother Arya, but she insults him again. Mohit's big brother Charles then mixes something in a drink and takes it to Arya, but one of Arya's friends intervenes, grabs the glass, drinks it instead. Arya chases away Charles, who feels offended by this. Another man present at the party, Jagan, deals with intoxicating substances. Charles, along with Mohit and Joginder, has made a plan to harm Arya. Meanwhile, Arya's friend, who drank an intoxicating drink, starts to feel dizzy. Arya makes her sit down somewhere and goes outside to find a taxi. She also calls her mother and tells her she will reach home in 45 minutes. After the call, Arya is grabbed by Mohit, Jagan, and Charles. They forcefully take her into their car. The hotel watchman also helps them. One by one, everyone in the car does bad things with Arya. They taunt her, telling her to shout as much as she wants and to call for her mother to save her. After hours of inhuman activity, they throw her out of the car and kick her into a drain. Meanwhile, Defki is tense because Arya still hasn't returned home. After a while, she decides to go to the party. Upon arriving, she starts asking Arya's friends where she is, but Defki can't get any information about Arya. Anxiously, Defki rushes to the police station to file a missing complaint, but the police officers don't take her seriously. In their opinion, it is Valentine's night, so her daughter must be spending time with her boyfriend somewhere. A detective named Daya Shankar is also present at the station. He silently listens to Defki. When the police officers make Defki return home, Daya Shankar approaches her. He introduces himself to Defki, gives her one of his business cards, and tells her to contact him if she needs any help. The next day, Defki learns that Arya has been found and is admitted to the hospital. Seeing Arya's miserable situation at the hospital, Defki cannot stop herself from crying. She gets to know everything from the doctor about what happened to Arya. She feels guilty for not being able to save her daughter. Then we see in the scene that police officer Matthew is assigned with Arya's case to investigate. When Arya comes into her consciousness, she becomes mute. She is not uttering any word from her mouth. When her father gets to know about the incident, he returns to India and directly goes to the hospital. He is shocked seeing Arya's miserable situation at the hospital. Arya used to love her father a lot. Watching her father at the hospital, she can't control her emotions. She starts crying silently. Devki tries to find out about the boys from Area. Area tells her that while they are raping her, they are saying one thing loudly: "Call your mother." Hearing that, Devki gets shocked and immediately understands who raped Area. Devki starts thinking that she might be the reason for her daughter's situation. Police arrest those 4 guys, but there is not much hope for Area to get justice because Mohit and Charles come from a very influential family. They buy all the evidence and even replace the medical report. So, due to the lack of evidence, the court's judgment is in Mohit's favor. Area's father loses control upon hearing the court's judgment. Area's father attacks Mohit and the other 3 guys, so he gets arrested. On the other hand, Area is so disappointed with the court's judgment. So she gets depressed and tries to commit suicide, but Devki saves her. When a girl gets raped, it just doesn't hurt her body. It also hampers her mental condition, especially when the culprits roam around outside like heroes. Area's parents try hard to make Area's life normal. But it seems like Area is losing her interest to live. After a few days, Devki returns to the school. There she sees Mohit. Then she loses her temper. She directly goes to the principal and asks him why Mohit is still not dismissed from the school. The principal says that according to the court, Mohit is innocent, so the school does not have the right to dismiss him. Slowly, Devki is losing her faith in the justice of the country. She resigns from the school where the culprits of her daughter are roaming around freely. While Devki is losing all her hopes, she suddenly remembers about Detective Daya Shankar. She meets him, and Daya Shankar agrees to help her because he himself is a father of a daughter. He gives her all the details of one of the 4 of them, the watchman. He tells her to keep faith in God. One day everything will be okay. Then Devki says that God is not present everywhere all the time. In reply to that, Daya Shankar says that she is right. That's why God made mothers. Undoubtedly, this is one of the best lines from the movies. The next day, Devki meets some transgender individuals whom she used to teach. In the next scene, we see the watchman sitting in a taxi, drunk, while a girl in the taxi tries to seduce him. The very next moment, another lady enters the taxi, and both ladies kidnap him. The very next day, the watchman finds himself lying beside a drain. While he goes to pee, he suddenly discovers that somebody has cut his private part. He gets shocked and starts fainting, falling on the toilet. Instantly, he dies at that moment. Devki succeeds in the first step to punish the culprits of her daughter. Area gets to know from the TV news that the watchman has died. It makes Area at least a little bit better. In the next scene, we see Devki and Daya Shankar meeting again. Daya Shankar gives a pen drive loaded with information about Mohit and Charles to Devki. Devki finds out that Charles takes various steps to build his body. Knowing that, a brilliant idea comes into Devki's mind. She buys a lot of apples and separates all the apple seeds, then makes a paste. Later, she reaches Charles' house with a keymaker to make a key to Charles' house, but she pretends as if she is the owner of that house. Entering Charles' house, she mixes the paste of apple seeds into Charles' protein powder. After consuming it, Charles gets sick and is admitted to a hospital. Mohit goes to see Charles. The police learn from the doctors that somebody gave Charles cyanide, which is made of apple seeds. In the meantime, Devki goes to Mohit's house and to frame him. She cuts many apples and separates all the apple seeds, making a paste out of it, and throws all the waste into Mohit's dustbin. Suddenly, Mohit gets a call from somewhere and gets to know that his house is on fire. Immediately, Mohit and the police who are present at the hospital go to Mohit's house. Reaching there, they all realize that it was false news. But the police decide to investigate Mohit's house, and there they find the rest of the apple seeds and a lot of apples. Devki's plan is successful. Now Mohit is under police suspicion. On the other hand, Charles goes into a coma. Devki goes to meet Charles at the hospital. She tells Charles that on that day, he and the others told Area to call her mother. Now see, her mother is in front of you. On the way to see Area's culprits punished one by one. Arya feels better. Nowadays, her life is starting to become normal. On the contrary, seeing the bad situations of Arya's culprits, police suspicion is now on Arya's mother Devki, but due to lack of evidence, they can't take any action against her. Later, Devki meets Daya Shankar again, but they fail to know anything about the fourth person. In the next scene, Mohit walks in a weird way. Then we come to know that what he did to Arya is now happening to him inside the jail by some prisoners. Now, Jagan comes to meet Charles. Hearing the word mother from Charles, Jagan understands that Arya's mother is behind everything. To collect information about Jagan, Daya Shankar starts following him, but Jagan is a smart guy. He catches Daya Shankar, collects all the information about Arya's family from Daya Shankar's office, and kills him. Then, we see on the screen that Arya is on holiday with her family, trying to forget all the incidents that happened to her. Upon reaching Arya's holiday destination, Jagan first kills Arya's father. After that, when he sees Devki, he tries to kill her by suffocation, wrapping her head in a polythene bag. Jagan then starts following Arya to kill her. When Devki regains consciousness, she steps forward to save Arya, but Jagan holds her at gunpoint. Suddenly, Inspector Matthew arrives to rescue Devki. He engages in a fight with Jagan. Eventually, Devki manages to grab Jagan's gun and points it at him. Inspector Matthew advises Devki to have faith in the law. Hearing this, a creepy smile appears on Jagan's face. Witnessing this, Inspector Matthew changes his mind and hands the gun over to Devki, encouraging her to shoot him. Jagan shouts, revealing that he knows Devki is responsible for what happened to Mohit, Charles, and the watchman. From behind a tree, Arya hears everything and realizes how much Devki loves her, whom she never accepted as her mother. Realizing Devki's immense love towards her, Arya finally calls Devki Mom, which gives Devki the strength to face Jagan and fire the fatal shot. In the final scene, Arya accepts Devki as her beloved mother and they hug each other. Devki comes to know from the inspector that her husband is also okay. If you enjoy our video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your little contribution means a lot for us.